Hey everybody, Lucas here, and this is going to be the monthly recap. This is probably what I'm going to do every month instead of doing reviews of every single game like I had in prior seasons. Just think this is going to be a lot easier for me with my work schedule. I did just get a promotion at my job. I am now a department supervisor of the appliances, millwork, and cabinets area, so that takes up a lot of my time. So much so, I average about 50 hours a week. So, but it was a nice pay raise, so position I've always wanted, so it's really good. I'm happy to have it. So, there is that. But, again, monthly recaps. October is done for the Florida Panthers as we ended off on a awesome note last night, beating the Colorado Avalanche by a score of 4-3. We were down at one point 3-1 in that third period before Barkov gets his first goal of the season, which was on the power play, and then Huberdeau scores to tie it at 3 apiece, and then Huberdeau in overtime wins it for the Cats. So great October for Florida. One of our best starts of the season so far, especially in our franchise's history. It ranks as the third best start through 13 games for Florida. Our best one was in 96-97 when we went 8-1-4 for a total of 20 points. That's the year we started the season off with a 12-game unbeaten streak. Then 95-96, we were 9-4 for a total of 18 points. Then in 99-2000, we were 6-3-2-2. That's when you got a point for an overtime loss and then a point for a tie. And then this year, we end up the October at 6-3-4 for a total of 16 points. Road record, phenomenal. We ended up 4-2-3 for the month of October for a total of 11 points. Absolutely stellar start on the road, especially against several tough teams. And that's what the bulk of the videos is our schedule. That was an absolutely brutal schedule. If you look at the strength of schedule for the Cats, we have so far of the opponents we've played the second toughest schedule besides Colorado, who has the toughest, who we went 1-0-1 against. In the 2 games we played against them. Both teams blew leads in each game. We blew the lead against Colorado in Florida a couple of weeks ago. Then Colorado does the favor and blows the lead in the third with us as we win this one, and they won in Florida. So we played really well against Colorado. If we hadn't blown that lead, I think we could have easily been 2-0 and beat a really good team. In October, too, we only had just one game against a team under 500. That's how tough our schedule was. We had one against a team that is currently at 500, Calgary. Now, again, obviously, this fluctuates depending on how the team does the rest of the year. But as of right now, that's what we're looking at. As of right now, for November, our schedule is definitely a lot easier, but not as easy. The one game we had, like I said, was under 500 was against the Devils, which we won that game. Now, compared to the teams that are ahead of us right now in the Atlantic Division, Boston and Buffalo, again, a hell of a lot harder schedule. Boston had the 16th toughest schedule so far in October. Buffalo, 29th. And I think that's what's going to be Buffalo's downfalls. They've had a really easy schedule. The remaining of their schedule does get pretty tough, so I could see them falling off into a more reasonable spot where they should be. Rest of the way, though, for us, we have a hell of a lot easier schedule. 5th easiest in the league as of today. Again, things can change. Things can go. Teams go on a hot streak, and then that gets a lot harder. So for the month of November, our opponent's schedule record is going to be 78, 45, and 12. And we've played, we have 4 games against teams that have an under 500 record. A lot easier compared to what we have last month in only the 1 game. We have played 4 teams that have a record that we played last month We went 1-1-2 against those. That was Buffalo, we lost in the shootout. Islanders, we lost in the shootout. Carolina, who we lost, we got absolutely pummeled by. And I think there'll be a chip on the shoulder for the Cats. I think they'll want to get revenge on that game. And then that win against Nashville in Nashville. And again, just to go over how tough this schedule was in October. Our opponent's record in October, as of today, was 80, 40, and 5. Next month, our opponent's records is 78, 45, and 12. Not as tough, but still it's going to be a challenge, especially with the fact that we have to play against Buffalo. We do have to play against the Bruins. We've got Washington in the mix. The Islanders are red hot right now. And so it doesn't get any easier somewhat. Again, we just have some easier teams to play against compared to last year. So overall for the month, as of right now, with wins, again, great start. We have the 6 wins. Awesome. Now, wins after the first period when leading. We have 0. 0. We have never won a game when leading after 1. But we've never lost a game in regulation either, so that's good. We've just had 2 overtime losses. Wins after leading after 2. 4 wins after leading after 2 periods. Perfect record. We're 4-0-0, so that's good to know. Wins trailing after 1 period. We have 2, so we have a 2-3-1 record. Good for 13th in the league, so we're doing better than the average. The second period is where we really come back in the third. Wins trailing after 2. We are 2 wins after that. We have a record of 2-3-2, which is good for 9th in the league. So we're a team that comes back in the later periods to win games. And it shows, especially when we talk about the goals for we've scored so far. In the first period, we have only scored 7 goals. 7, which is 30th in the league. Again, so we're playing a lot of catch-up against these teams that we are playing against. We have to definitely improve that in November. We have to get off to that fast start. We have to get the lead in that first period. In the second and third, though, this is where we really get the goals going. In the second period, we have 18, good for 6th. And then in the third period, we have 20 goals, which is good for 2nd in the league behind Toronto, who has by far played the most games in the league, so obviously they're going to have more. Now, goals against. In the first period, we have given up 16 goals, which is the 2nd most in the league. Now, I think this stat is a little skewed because of 2 games. The game, we have given up 9 goals in that first period in just 2 games. 4 against Carolina in that game we lost, and then this week against the Canucks, we gave up 5 in that first period. So that definitely is a skewed stat. I think if we only given up like maybe 2 in each period against those 2 teams, it would be a lot lower. We wouldn't be so high. And again, those were 2 games we absolutely got manhandled. Now, you take away those 2 games, we would be 6-1-4. All 3 games we have lost in regulation, we have gone hammered, which is amazing. So every game has been close for us, or we've crushed the opponent. This team has been really good. Again, the stats are showing this, and we get more stats. You're just going to see how good this team has been as of late. In the second period, we've given up 14 goals, which is 12th in the league, and then the third, 17, which is 8th most. So again, we do give up a lot also in the third and second periods as well. Worst goals against in the league right now. Definitely shows our defense has holes and the goaltending needs a little work, which we'll get into a little later in the stats. As for the players themselves, I think the fourth line has been absolutely phenomenal. Achari has just been a great signing for the Florida Panthers. Again, every time we sign a Boston player, they just excel for us. We had Riley Smith. We have Toronto now, who's doing pretty decent right now. Achari's doing awesome. I love it. I love when we steal a Bruins player and they do good for us. So, it's like a sticking right into the Bruins fans for you. Connolly, which a lot of Panthers fans were really pissed off about, I know, during the offseason when we signed him, but he's done really well for us. He's got 4 goals, 5 assists, definitely on pace to match what he did last season with Washington. Morgan really coming into his own right now, really filling in really good for the Cats. Boyle, who we signed during the end of this month, really has filled in great for Trocheck, who's injured. Don't know when he's coming back. He is on the trip, so hopefully he should be back. He's on the trip. The trip's over, so he probably will hopefully be back for the game against Detroit on Saturday. And again, we're not really decimated with 2 bad injuries, which has helped. Trocheck's out, Matheson is out, Ekblad was out for a little bit. Harlock could be out on that hit last night, so we'll see if there's a suspension, which I think there maybe. We don't know. It did look like a hit to the head, so we'll see what the final verdict on that is. The first line, I think, has been really good for us. Barkov is struggling. You can definitely tell he's got some sort of injury. His face-offs hasn't been really that good. As a team, as a whole, we are not doing well on face-offs. I think that definitely hasn't a contributor to it. Barkov playing injured. You can tell he was injured. Preseason he got hurt. Then he just played through it, and he got pretty banged up a few games ago. Ended up leaving the game so far this season. So I really wish we could sit him maybe for a week, just sit him for a week, let him heal that wrist, something. Finally got his first goal last night, again huge on the power play. He's been great on assists though. He's up there in the league, top 3 in the league for assists. So he's definitely helping out. Huberdeau, just being Huberdeau, doing absolutely phenomenal, averaging more than a point a game. Hoffman has done really well for us too. He started off really hot. He had a hat trick early in the month, but then he's really cooled down lately in the last 5 games or so. Hopefully he can pick it up again in November. As for the defense, Uyghur has been really good. He's definitely stepped it up. Matheson, Ekblad, Yandel, I think they need to work on a few things. I think once the system's working, the defense has gone somewhat better, besides the game against Winnipeg, against the Canucks the other night. But defense still is a struggle. Goals against is showing that. And Bobrovsky, as for goaltending, he is struggling. And a lot of people, Columbus fans, say, oh, he starts off slow and then he'll pick it up for you. He'll absolutely pick it up. And I was looking at his past 5 seasons so far. So far this month, he went 5-2-3, goals against a 3.7 with a save percentage of .873. That is pretty bad. The goals against is his second highest in the last 5 seasons, and the save percentage at .873 is his second worst so far. And going through the last 5 seasons, he does have an under 500 record 2 seasons, and then he has a 500 record in 2 more seasons. So he definitely does struggle. He's got goals against of 3 or higher in 3 of those seasons, and a save percentage under 900% in 3 of those seasons as well. Now you go into November. Yes, he does pick it up. He absolutely picks it up. He only has 1 season in the last 5 that he has an under 500 record for the month of November. So definitely could be good things to come. A lot of Panther fans are kind of pissed off that we signed this guy for $10 million and he's struggling. Again, maybe it's just his October jinx, and then he'll hopefully pick it up in November. Defense, though, does have to get better in front of him. The defense is struggling a bit. I think if the defense can have a better November, we'll see more wins. But still, a phenomenal start for the Florida Panthers. Was especially, and a lot of people are not, I don't think, considering this. We started on the road. We had a ton of games on the road. We had 9 games on the road. That is a lot to start the season. And again, with the strength of the schedule, second toughest schedule. Very, very tough schedule. Yet we have our third best start in franchise history. You can't ask for more. Again, we do need to fix some things. And again, now that we have a full month of under our belt, we can get even better. And I'm excited. I think this team is going to be really good for us this year. I see the playoffs. I'm excited. We're in third right now. We are currently in third place in the Atlantic Division, just 4 points out of first behind Boston and Buffalo, who we play this month. That game against Boston in a couple weeks, oh man, am I nervous. That is going to be a tough one in Boston. Boston, again, unbelievable record. They're like 9-1-2. And they're scoring in bunches too, and the defense is phenomenal. So we really have to have one of our best games of the year against them. So last but not least, I do want to talk about the power play and penalty kill. The penalty kill is 7th in the league right now at a 84.8%. The power play is 16th at 20.5%. So good, middle of the road for the power play. Penalty kill in the top of the league, pretty much. So special teams are doing what they can, which is good to hear. So with that, I'm going to close this out, guys. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for your patience with no videos really coming out. Like I said, just with this promotion, I was working towards the promotion. I got the promotion. And now with the amount of hours I'm going to be working, it just didn't really make sense to do weekly recaps. I just wouldn't have had the time or the effort to really put into it. So I figured let's do monthly. Again, I'm going to try and do monthly recaps of the for the season, and then once the playoff comes, that's when I'll probably do a game recap. But let's play it by year, and with that, I will see you guys at the end of November. Have a good one.